Good times, my fellow humans. If it is not good, then it's about to get better. Welcome to the Be Different podcast. My name is Nekesa Ochieng, and I am glad to have you here. Yay! Woo! I'm so excited, guys. Yeah, that's the energy this morning. Guys, I am so excited. I have these two lovely humans with me. And they're going to introduce themselves. Of course, this is another exciting episode of Be Different podcast. My name is Nekesa Ochieng, your host. And let me welcome my guests.
Thank you.
Yeah, Karibu. Let's start with you.
My name is Florence. Married to this guy, Raphael. Lovely.
Yeah, and Raphael.
Yes.
Awimbos.
Yes.
Married to Flo.
Yeah. So tell us, guys. Of course, this is a couple, and today we just wanted to discuss about finances in marriage or couples and money, however you want to call it. It's a big deal. Trust me, guys, it's a big deal. So tell us more. How many years have you been married? Do you want to tell us what you guys are doing so that we just get an idea of who you are before we delve into the money issue now?
Yeah, so we've been married for 5 years and I think 4 months now. Yeah, so it's been an awesome journey. I think every day creates just an opportunity for us to keep on learning and unlearning some things. And there are things that we become better at. There are things that we embrace, at least as seen as just enjoy this wonderful journey of of being together.
What do you guys do? Like, would you do 8 to 5, or do you have businesses?
Yeah, so 8 to 5.
Yes.
I'm a salesperson, basically.
Yeah.
I work for I work in the MCG industry.
Yeah.
I've been there for this is the 7th year, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
MCG means manufacturing.
FMCG, fast moving consumer goods.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was going to say manufacturing.
Are we calling the FMCG industry? But now in supply chain.
Yeah.
So of course I'm the exact opposite of Ralphie.
Yeah.
He has the energy. Then I'm the more now
The calm one.
calmer one and all that. So been in the industry for close to 10 years.
Yeah.
So yes.
Karibuni. So these guys are our friends. Don't be surprised. We actually went through pre-marital counseling. We were in the same class, right?
Yes.
But now we want to know where us guys went wrong. I mean, okay, these guys, I personally call them here because they did something right, or they are doing something right. We normally talk. We visit each other often and we talk a lot. And finances is one of the issues where we touch base on a lot, where we bounce off ideas and we discuss a lot. And I felt like they are doing something right. So you guys, from the top of your head, you can give us examples of financial conversations you had, either before you got married, while dating and courting, whether you had that conversation, and after. Any other, financial conversation you've had before I ask the next question.
So probably I'll give a little bit of background.
Yeah.
I think growing up, my mother had always insisted, even in high school, that for whatever amount of money that she gives you, you have to tithe. So already there was that discipline that I knew there is a bit of what I'm keeping and there's a bit that I'm tithing, irrespective of whatever amount it is.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2014, I met Ralph at a youth setup in Sita Moodley. So, I mean, when we started off the relationship, that was one of the first things that came up about money and all that. And Ralph would tell you that the first time we were like, it was very open. How much do you make?
Wow.
Yeah, that was from the very start.
Among the first conversations you guys had.
I think it didn't even take more than a month before that conversation started. How much are you making? Can I please see your payslip?
Wow.
So I was quite upfront.
Who asked?
She did.
Oh wow. Okay. And did he produce his
Of
payslip?
course.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, you know that this is someone that you want to put up with the rest of the life.
Yeah.
So why hide some things, you know? And even in the sessions that we've had, the pre-marital classes, money was a big thing.
It was.
It was a big thing. So we just wanted to get ourselves in the right footing, so that we avert ourselves from, someone just thinking in their minds that maybe there is still some room for something. Yeah. And I think that gave us an awesome opportunity of just, starting on the right footing. But also for me,
I just wanted you to comment on your finances discipline growing up. Now that she's brought up the issue of how her parents instilled that the tithing bit in her, do you have the same, or what was your...
So that is where I was going to. So growing up, my dad was the Superman of our household, because for him he told my mom, you know what, I will provide.
Wow.
Sit back and relax. Coming from a very big family, my dad was providing everything, by the way. Anything that you wanted, he did. Yani, literally everything.
Yeah.
So the unfortunate thing happened. I passed on. And now, everyone was looking up to him. And it became like, oh my goodness. Now, where are we going to start from? So, me growing up and, just seeing how mom struggled a bit, I was like, hey, I don't want to take the route that my dad took. I was, him telling my mom not to work because he's going to provide.
Sit back. Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I said, if I'm going to get married, I have to ensure that at least we contributing something. As in, I have a wife who can be able to bring in something, even if it is something small. Yeah, so that by any chance, God forbid, if I go fast, then at least she will not struggle as much.
Yeah.
So having that background, I was like, now it's always also very much important, at least, to put something aside.
Yeah.
Because I realized that success does not just come like that. You have to prepare for it. Most of the time, for us Christians, we pray over everything, and there are some things that God expects from us to just have discipline on, so that at least you can be able to facilitate a couple of things. So that's now what informed, us embarking on having these conversations on finances. Yeah, so at the time that I met her, I think for me being a salesperson, making some good money.
I can
making
imagine.
some good money in incentives and, just money flying left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I've always been a planner, and I didn't want to get myself into a space of wasting money.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we started having a conversation, when I started showing interest from her, and she brought the conversation on money, then you're like, you know what, if this is the direction we're going to take, then we need to start putting up things in order. Yeah. One of the things that she had mentioned to me is that we have to do a white wedding, and just do things the right way. And me, I was game, for that, because I didn't want any gray area to come, later on in life that will be able to affect our relationship. So I told her clearly, this is what you want. Okay, now, if you want a white wedding, what happens is, I have only 3 friends. So don't expect that you're going to go with, some how can I put it? These two
Committee.
Yeah, not the fundraising, fundraising direction. But there is this idea up and that. I was like, no, with whatever we have, that is what you're going to do.
Okay.
So I only have 3 friends, and these friends I know for sure they cannot
cannot fund the
they cannot fund the
wedding.
wedding. So that brings us back into us funding our wedding.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, so what was the budget? The budget was X amount. Okay, so how do we started working backwards. So I told her that we opened a joint account, which we did.
Wow.
Within a week after we had.
After that discussion, probably we had just dated for like 2 months or something.
Yes.
What?
And I think just the trust, and we were like,
Yeah.
we're going to do this. Went in, opened the joint account. So at that point, I remember I was just starting to put in little by little. So we would agree and say, you know what, at the end of the month, because definitely he used to get paid first, so you go in, put in. Actually sent me a WhatsApp of what
The
he has
deposit.
he's deposited.
Yeah.
Because we're in different towns. He's in Mombasa,
yeah.
he's in Coast, I'm in Nairobi. So once he does the deposit, and also when I said to do the deposit, we send each other the messages. Here's proof that I put money
that I
into the joint
deposited.
account. Yeah.
And okay, I'm curious. The management of the joint account, it was both of you to sign.
Yes,
If things
both of
went,
us.
it's just in case.
Both of us to sign.
Both of us to sign. Up to now, I mean, if we need to withdraw money from it, both of us have to be
Until
there.
date.
Yeah.
It's not one person and okay. Interesting. So that's how that's a very good foundation.
Yeah.
So going into marriage, did anything change in terms of money, personalities, the discipline of saving, having the conversations? Is there anything you found out about Raf with money? Is there anything you found out about Flo with money that was a bit either it took you back or you just had to work around it? Yeah.
So I think for me, even before we got into marriage, I used to struggle a lot with tithing.
Okay.
Because, like I mentioned, I'm coming from a very huge family.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of needs,
True.
So my tithing was kind of, shaky.
Yeah.
Because at one particular point, tithing 1,000 shillings is very easy. Yeah?
It's not easy.
1,000
a lot
is
of
easy.
Christians are suffering with the tithing.
1,000 is very easy, 2,000, and then, now with the incentives that you used to get and all that, now it comes to like around 5 figures of tithing, and you're like, oh my goodness, hey, by the way, there is a need that we need to sort at home. Let me just give it as, it will be able to, I will give my time to sort out the issue that we have at home, maybe one of my siblings, and then I take that as tithe. But she came in and told me, you know what, money belongs to God, So whatever you're doing is not right before God's eyes. Yeah. So I told her, by the way, this is something that I'm struggling with, and I think I need help. So how we are going to manage our finances is you're going to tithe all our monies. I'll be telling you what we have, I have earned at the end of the month.
You take the 10% and give.
No, she tithes from her money.
Yes,
for the both of us. For both of us.
Yeah.
So that happened for a couple of months. Then
that's a very. Let me just comment on that. It's a very good way for accountability.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you expect that person to just like kusema na kutenda, those are two different things.
Definitely.
Especially when it comes to money.
Definitely. So when she did that, then it reached a point whereby I was like, now those two things that I had in my mind, I was like, so this is the right way that we need to do.
Yeah.
So because I earn early, we are paid earlier. So now what I usually do is I tithe.
Wow.
And at least she assisted me to
get the hang of it.
And get the discipline. In terms of learning I think that is one of the things that I learned from her, which I've taken with a lot of pride. In terms of any changes in our lives, in terms of money management, not really. In fact, if there is anything that has happened, for us, I think we've become better. Yeah. We've become better. She's become more stricter in finances. And at least it has enabled us at least to make some great strides, which we are grateful for.
Yeah. Flo, tell us. Either you can answer that question. I have another question for you, but just tell us first.
So, I used to see my mom. She, as a teacher, by default, she belonged to a circle.
Yeah.
as a person, had never really tied my head into the concept of circle and what it could do for us as a family. So when we started dating, he just randomly asked me, "Are you a member of a circle?" And I said no. Are you going to join a circle? I said yes. Why not? And he told me, okay, I'm in my Shabora circle. I knew for the longest time he was in my Shabora circle. And when he told me that, because of what I'd seen the circle do for my parents, and I remembered even back then when I was in high school, and my mother would go and pay my fee literally. If you're moving to Form 3, she would pay your fees in Form 2 at the end of November. She'd literally pay everything. So there was no opportunity to go back home for school fees and anything. So when I tied that back, it was naturally easy for me now to go to follow his guide go do the circle. And I did the thing in a week and it was done. And that was, I think, in March 2015. And I think that was one of the most important things that we ever did for ourselves also as a family by joining the circle. Because the small amounts, then now later with a child and everything, it's just now fitting now perfectly into the money road. The path.
So what I wanted to ask you, where do you think the strictness is coming from?
I think there is a mix of what has happened in the past. There's a bit of from a background where I've seen my parents slowly build their things, and also my parents are quite organized in that way. And Raf will tell you, like my dad, when he foresees he's going to get money, he does not wait for the money to come. He already has a very well laid out plan, and he'll even tell you, this is how I want my things to sit. And then I would also say there's also I think also my job also plays a little bit of that, because at the end of the day, you're running budgets for an organization. It's only fair that you're taking the learnings from the organization and really doing it in your own life. And then you see the tweaks, and then Raf is telling you have become much more stricter, because when you have pressure to work with so little to do so much, then it will definitely...
You're taking the same at home.
Yes, it's the same principle. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And I like that most of your lessons are coming up from growing up, from your parents.
Yes.
And most of us weren't that, I don't know, that open, especially our parents. Like for me, my parents weren't sitting down to discuss with me finances. So I like that you're saying it came from my dad, it came from my mom, and you're actually saying that your dad used to tell you before he received some money, he already has a laid out plan. He used to discuss with you, the kids.
He would not even sit you down, but he would mention it. Like today, I saw him probably 2 or 3 months ago. He has a very clear plan of what he's doing with his pension. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. He might not sit you in a formal setting, but you are observing. There's a lot of things to observe. Even the way they are handling money, the way they handle people with money, and the way they even respond with money. If it's not enough, it's not enough. And they're very upfront with the people. I can only give you up to this extent. I'm not going to make sacrifices for you with something that I don't have. So it's constantly observing that and seeing that, yes, this is what I have, and this is what I'll make it work. If I don't have it, then that's it. And I think also just the learning, and also it's also a spiritual journey, where I think that was drummed into my head constantly, even in campus, with the friends that we used to hang out with. Money belongs to God. Once you understand that particular point, it's like your heart is freed. You're not tied. You don't hold on to it, because you have the faith that whatever happens, God has my back in this situation. Either way, He owns all this stuff. So, what to do?
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. So, apart from that, we want to get a few pointers for couples, as in people are struggling in this Nairobi. Number one, opening a joint account when you're dating. You've heard the songs and you've seen the memes, and right now there's all this wash nini. There's wash stories. So we just want to give couples a few pointers. What can they work with, both dating and married? I know there's some people who will pick from your story, but the others who just need some. You can throw in any pointers You can go start from Rafa.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's really important to get to know where you're going. And that informs a lot of things.
Yeah.
For us, I also believe what really helped us is working in big organizations. You see how they manage their finances. I think the only best thing that we can be able to do is just to borrow. That what usually happens with most of us, the Christians, sorry to say, we expect miracles in things which we need to apply discipline. Yeah. So
That's a tweet.
yes. So my take is you will spend a lot of time praying and fasting so that God provides you with money. But when He does, then you forget. Ama, you don't have anything that you want. You've already pre-planned. Ama, you've looked ahead that these are the things that you want to go and do. Yeah.
Wow.
So for us, what has really worked for us is that we developed an Excel sheet. We have a budget. I used to tell her that for me, I struggle so much with getting money that I didn't plan for because I don't know where to take it most of the time. It destabilizes my plan. Yeah. So what we did is we just created a budget of the recurrent expenditure of the house. We run the house the same way organizations are being run.
Wow.
So when we get money, we know that this money will go to groceries, this will go to paying rent, this will go to fund X, Y, and Z, all those. And that is what we've stuck with. Yeah. And we've since we started dating up to now, I think we have all those Excel sheets.
Records from the time that we started dating up to now. Like,
so we know our patterns, as in our expenditure. We know clearly.
So the Excel sheets has changed? Have the percentages changed?
They have changed, of course.
they have changed. I'll put it, it's more like itemized.
Yeah.
There are some things which have joined the list which were not there. For instance, when you got married, you didn't have a house help. So definitely it has added to the list.
Joint account, an account for Ariela.
For Ariela, the SACCO account for Ariela was not there before Ariela came. So it is to try to keep there are some basic ones which will still be the same. Like you'll still have your rent, you'll still have your tithe. There are ministries which we've been supporting all through for the past 6 years. Same. The only thing we tell ourselves, as the money grows, we also rightfully grow our contribution to the ministries. You'll find some things like when we do an initiative or we are doing a small thing and we need to pay some people, then that line will be introduced to that. But it's more or less like the same items, but we're able to see the progression from the time that we started up to now. But the rule of thumb is that we cut your clothes according to your size. Money has a lot to do with your personality and your esteem issues. So if your esteem is not intact, I mean, money has a lot to do with your esteem. If you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel worth about yourself, you really have to work on yourself before you start this journey of money. Your self-esteem has to be.
That's a whole poster. That's a whole poster, guys. You have to work on yourself.
Your self-esteem has to be intact.
I will repeat
Why?
that.
Because, I mean, at this age, I can tell you peer pressure is not for teenagers.
True.
Peer pressure is
It's for us. It's for
it's
all
for
of
people who
us.
are married.
adults.
And others.
Yes.
Because you'll walk into an office setting, somebody has the latest designer coat. You have to think, do I want the designer coat? Or can I do with a toy 200 coat? And the difference I can put into Ariela's SACCO account. And I'm also feeling warm. So
and even to make matters worse, you find that the person who's wearing those designer clothes and all that, they're earning less.
half of what you make. Yes.
Then you're like, I need to match up,
To match up. You'll still drive your old jalopy, and people will pitch up with new cars every other day. I mean, so I can't overemphasize the bit of self-esteem. You have to really, really, really think about who you are as a person, who are your values. Yes. You have to be comfortable in your skin. There are people who can wear a 5,000 dress and you wear a 500 dress, and all of you, the way you put it on, more or less the same. So,
And also the aspect of just having some sense of direction. Where are you heading? because if you don't know where you're heading, then every road will take you anywhere. So if I know very well that I have we have an objective that the next 5 years, this is the plan that we have. So when we get money, we redirect that money into that that plan towards fulfilling that plan. So when we have maybe, because we always have friends or people, and the environment now with the WhatsApp generation and all that, you see people posting things, doing it's very easy to get distracted. But if you just have the focus, then there is nothing that will be too hard. But what I want to emphasize more about money is just it's a very simple requirement. Just discipline. That is what is required.
That is not small.
It is just discipline, by the way. And most of the time, it's very easy to say that, procrastinate and say that I will do it tomorrow. I will. If you are disciplined in the small things, and I think even it's in the one, if God cannot entrust you with small things, then how can you expect to get bigger things? So it's just disciplined. And I think matters finances, what I can just say, it doesn't require a lot of miracles. It requires a lot of discipline. Because God will always provide.
I like that.
For every season that you are in. But are we being good stewards for what God has entrusted with? And there are many stories. I've been listening to Hope FM. There is a time that money stories were being the money stories were being shared. Then the speaker was just mentioning about how success can swamp you. Remember the time that Jesus was looking for the disciples? Then the whole day they had looked for fish. They didn't get anything.
They were there. They were working.
Right? So they were told to go back. They went back. They went and they got more than even what they could be able to handle. So what did they do? They asked for help. Understand? So most of the time, I think we look, we want more, but we don't know this more. If you have not planned for it, what will you do with it? Because also the kingdom needs money to facilitate a couple of things. So that also brings up the aspect of giving and the aspect of just sharing. But you have to discern God's will, not to get yourself in a space of just, dishing out money for the sake. Then you end up, not facilitating your life.
Okay. I really like that. It is always a pleasure to have hosted you. Thank you for listening. Follow us on the socials, Instagram and Twitter at BeDifferentKE, at I am Nekesa. Facebook is Nekesa Ochieng. Let's keep talking.